Okay, so again with the example, we'll discuss about this Diophantine equation. So Diophantine equations are formulae in which the variables are restricted to integers. Okay, so for example, Fermat's last theorem concerned like we have seen the equation like an plus bn is equal to cn. So solving this kind of equation for the real number is not a big deal, because the if you have know the values, we can easily calculate it. But it is only if all the variables are restricted to integers that the problem becomes difficult. So Diophantine equation are difficult to work with because division is not a routine operation with integer formulae. However, there are certain classes of Diophantine equation which are known to be solvable, and these tend to arise frequently. So we'll see the one example of Diophantine equation. Like in our previous example in linear congruences, we have seen how to calculate the value of x. But here in Diophantine equation, there is a two values that we have to calculate. That is x and y. So here, actually, it is you can say it is extended version of uh, that the linear congruences equation, like in which we are calculating the value of x. But here in Diophantine equation, there's we have to calculate value of x and y. Okay, so we'll see this example so that you can properly understand how this Diophantine equation works. After that, we'll discuss different application of Diophantine equation. Okay, so suppose a and b are integers, and mathematically a belongs to z and b belongs to z. Then Diophantine equation ax plus by is equals to gcd a comma b has a solution. Okay, so x plus by is equal to greatest common divisor of a and b has a solution if mathematically a and b belongs to z. So similar strategy is used in Euclidean algorithm. Already in the last lecture, we have discussed about Euclidean algorithm. The similar strategy. Now, the equation is what? Like in linear congruences, we have seen the equation in which x we have to calculate here. Similarly, the equation is ax plus by gcd ab. Now here, based on this, the Diophantine equation is given like 47 of x plus 30y is equal to 1. Okay. So here we can easily identify the value of a and b. And mainly here we have to find out the value of x and y. In linear congruences, we have seen the value of x have the number of solution like x1, x2, right? Similarly, in Diophantine equation, there is a number of different values for x and y. Okay, so but here we are considering only one value. Okay, but we can extend it for the x1, x2, y1, y2 based on number of solution available. Okay, so so first we divide a by b, and we get the quotient q and the remainder r. Okay, so then this equation must satisfy for a is equal to b into q plus r. Okay, a is equal to b into q plus r. So what is a q? Q is a quotient here, and r is a remainder. R is what? R is a remainder. Okay, so a is 47. A is 47 is equal to b is what? B is a 30, and q is the quotient. So if you will divide 47 by the 30, here you will get the one quotient, right? And the remainder will be the 17, right? So this is the r, and this is a q. Okay, so here we will put this value 47 is equals to 30 into this is a q, so 1 plus r is a 17, so 17. Okay, So and so forth. We'll continue this equation by putting value like this 30 and the 17. So we will replace this a and b value repeatedly. Okay. So now again, the same thing we will put here in this equation. So a is what? A is 30 and b is a 17. So 30 is equal to 17. Again, similarly, if you will divide it 13, instead of here it is a 30 and here it is a 17. So similarly, you will get here the 1 as well as 30 minus 17, that is 13, right? So this is a quotient and this is a remainder. 30 minus 17 is equal to 13. Okay. Now the next step is what? Now here this 17 become a and this 13 become a b. Again, what we will do, we will put into the same equation. Now 17 is equals to 13. Now we have to calculate the value of quotient and the remainder. Okay. So 13 into 1, 13. So quotient is 1. And remainder 17 minus 13 is 4. Okay. Now again we got the value of a and the b. So a is what? A is 13 and b is a 4. What we will do again, we will put this value into the equation, and 13 is equals to b is a 4. Now here the quotient is what? Fourth is at 12. Fourth is at 12. So 3 is your quotient, and 13 minus 12, that is 1, is your remainder. Okay. So we have put it, this value repeatedly for a and b, and we get this number of equation. Now we will solve for the remainders. Okay. So we will solve this equation for the remainders. Now we have considered, for example, the first equation like this: 47 is equal to 30 into 1 plus 17. Okay. So for the remainders, we are solving it. What we have to do, we have to uh, take it away, the remainders, like 17 is the remainders here. Okay. So we have to solve for the remainders. So 17 is equals to 47 into 1 plus 30 into minus 1, right? Obviously, if we are taking here at this side, accordingly 47 plus 30 into minus 1, it means minus 30. Accordingly, we have to write this equation, right? Actually, this Diophantine equation will require to solve the problem, that the problem we'll discuss today. Okay. So we are solving for the remainders. So this part we have seen. Now the similarly for the second equation. In the second equation, like here, 30 is equal to 17 into 1 plus 13, right? So 30 is equal to 70 into 1 plus 30. So similar, so and so forth, we will continue for the remaining equation. Okay. So what we are doing, we are calculating for the remainder. So 13 we have uh, taken at the left side. So 13 is equal to 30 into 1 plus 17 into minus 1, right? So we got the second equation. Again, the third one, again 4 is equals to 17 into 1 plus 13 into minus 1, right? And similarly, for the fourth equation, 1 is equal to 13 into 1 plus 4 into minus 3. Okay. So we have separated out the remainders here. Now what we will do, we will use one by one equation and substitute this equation for the respective values. Like 4, what is the 4? This is the value. So for the 4, we will put this. For the 30, this is the value. So we will put this value. For the 17, this is the value. So we will put for the 17. Okay. Now here we have considered the last equation. 1 is equal to 13 into 1 plus 4 into minus 3. This equation we have considered. Now 1 is equal to 13 into 1 plus 4 into minus 3. Okay, 13 into 1 plus 4 into minus 3. So what actually we are doing here, we are substituting value of 4 here. Okay, we are substituting the value of 4. Now what is the value of 4 here? The value of 4 is this. 4 is equal to 17 into 1 plus 13 into minus 1. So what we will do, we will put this value here, right? Into minus 3, whole term into minus 3. Okay. So carefully look here, what actually we are putting, how we are putting this value. So 13 into 1 plus, for the 4, 17 into 1 plus 13 into minus 1. Instead of 4, we have used this equation, and into minus 3. So this minus 3 is here. I hope you could understand these steps. Again, I am repeating if you could not understand. So 1 is equal to 13 into 1 plus 4 into minus 3. So what we did here, we have put this value of 4. So 4, what is a 4? 17 into 1 plus 13 into minus 1. So 13 into 1 plus the value of 4 is 17 into 1 plus 13 into minus 1. Whole term multiplied by minus 3. Okay. Now it is very easy. Easily you can solve this equation. 13 into 1 plus 17. Now, so minus 3 into 1, that is minus 3, and minus 3 into minus 1, that is plus 3. Okay. So we have multiplied this minus 3 with the both the term, and we got this 17 into minus 3 plus 13 into 3. Now, the next step is what? Here is 13 into 3. So we will solve this. So 13 into 3 and 13 into 1. So it is in the plus term. So 13 into 3 plus 13 into 1, that is 13 into 4 plus 17 into minus 3. So A and X plus BY, right? Accordingly, here we got the equation. Then, if you carefully observe here, the 17 is here. So what we will do, again, we will put the value of, okay, so after 4, the next is a 13. So directly we will not consider for the 17. We will take the 13 first. Okay. So this again 13 value is here. So the next one is a 13. So we will put this value 13 is 30 into 1 plus 17 into minus 1. So for the 13, we have put it this 30 into 1 plus 17 into minus 1 into 4 plus 17 minus 3. Okay. So we have put this value for the 13, substituted for the value 13. Then we'll multiply. So 13, both the term with the 4. So 13 into 1. So 4 plus 17 into minus 1. Minus 1 into 4, that is minus 4. Plus 17 into minus 3. So again, we can add both the term minus 3 plus minus 4, that is minus 7. So 13 into 4 plus 17 into minus 7. So 13 is completed now. Now we can move to the 17. So what we can do, we can put this value here for the 17. Okay, for the year, the 17. So we have substituted for the 17 now. Substituted for the 17. So for this 17 value is substituted with this, the 17 equation. Okay, that is 47 into 1 plus 13 into minus 1 into minus 7. Okay, so it is the 17 value substituted here. Then 30 into 4 plus 47. Now minus 7 into 1, that is minus 7, and minus 7 into minus 1, that is plus 7. So after putting this value, again 30 into 4 and 30 into 7, so both the terms are common. So what we can do, we can add both the term. So 30, 4 plus 7, that is 11. So 30 into 11 plus 47 into minus 7. So we have substituted all four equation value. So done is, everything is done here. Now, what is the purpose of D'Hopital equation? The main purpose of D'Hopital equation to calculate the value of x and y. So here we have calculated the value of x and y. So x is what? X is 11 and y is minus 7. So in the equation, we have calculated the value of x and y. What we can do, we can put this value into the equation. What is our equation? 47 into x plus 30 into y is equal to 1. So here we have put the value of x, that is 11, and y, the value of minus 7. And you can solve this equation very easily. So it is a D'Hopital equation by which repeatedly we have to simply put the values, and we can calculate the value of x and y. Okay, this concept is very simple. You can take a screenshot of this problem so that it will help you to solve any equation in which two variables are there, x and y, by using a D'Hopital equation. Okay, so take a screenshot. I will share this PPT as well as a PPT with you, as well as all the lectures I am recording. So I will share this lecture with you. Okay, so you can take a screenshot to understand this problem. Okay, so in linear congruences, we have calculated multiple value for the x, right? So similarly, in the D'Hopital equation also, we have to calculate multiple values for x and y. But how many value? Again, like in linear congruences, we have seen like a mod of uh, b, and here a mod of d, and we, after calculation, we got the two different combinations, so two different solutions we have find out for the value of x. Similarly here, yeah, in D'Hopital equation also, we first we have to calculate how many different solutions are available, and then we can calculate the different values for x and y. But here in this example, we have calculated value of x and y for the one solution. Okay, so the main thing is, what are the applications of D'Hopital equation? What are the applications where it is used? So in different fields, actually, this D'Hopital equation is used. In the chemistry, it is used for balancing chemical equation. Right? We have seen here how the equation is there in which x and y variables are there. So in the chemistry also, we have to balance the equation by the two variables x and y. That time we use this D'Hopital equation. Physics, in the real life geometric problem, can involve the D'Hopital equation. Geometric problems, you can search. Again, in that also D'Hopital equation is used. The cryptography. In the cryptography, you will find this D'Hopital equation is used. The field of elliptic curve cryptography (ECC) is concerned with the calculation in finite field and 33rd degree 22 variable of D'Hopital equation. So actually, in a computer network, you will learn a little bit about the cryptographic theory. But actually, if you are looking uh, the cryptographic algorithm, you will find this D'Hopital equation used over there. Again, in computational complexity theory, this D'Hopital equation is used. So there are few applications I found, and So it having an importance even in computational complexity theory, cryptography related to the computer. So that's why it is important in the cryptography field or as well as in complexity theory. Actually, for the if it comes to the computer in today's we have seen linear congruences as well as the different algorithm as well as this Diophantine equation. To solve this in the Python, you will get the different libraries are available, as well as in Java there are different libraries are available for the number theory, in which actually we can simply call the library and you can use all these equation. Like suppose here few libraries we will discuss, like Java big integer class, Java dot math dot big integer includes variety of useful number of theoretic functions. Like we have seen GCD, modular, exponentiation, modular inverse, primality testing. So for these different purposes, different libraries are available in Java. Like for GCD, the big integer GCD, big integer value. Okay, it returns a big integer whose value the GCD of. So if any big integer two values are there, if you want to find out the GCD, this kind of you have to call the library and you can use that function. Again, for the modular exponentiation, these libraries are available. Okay, so we can use this library and easily solve all these equation. Okay, so here we have completed theoretical part of unit number 1. Anyone have a doubt, you can ask me, then we'll start the problem. Okay, so the first problem, that is light more light. Light more light. So I hope all you might have implemented this program in the practical. Okay, but still I will discuss here, and then from you someone have to discuss the solution, because you have implemented this program in your practical, right? So you should able to explain the solution of this problem, that is light more light. Okay, so there is a man named Mabu who switches on off the light along a corridor at our university. Every bulb has its own toggle switch, changes the state of the light. If the light is off, pressing the switch turns it on. Pressing it again will turn it off. Initially, each bulb is off. Okay, so this problem is given. In a one university corridor, the light is there, and the light switch is like a toggling switch. If it is on, if you toggle it, it will off. Again, you toggle it, it will on. Okay, simply you have to press it. Okay, and there is one person is there. The name is Mabu. Who what he is doing is uh, his job is to turn on and off the light. But he is doing one thing over there, and initially all the switches are off. So he does a particular thing. If there are n bulbs in a corridor, he walk along the corridor back and forth n times. Okay, so there are n bulbs are there, and for the n number of time he is walking over in a corridor. Okay, so on ith walk, okay, on ith walk, so n number of bulbs are there and n number of walk he is doing. So at ith walk, for example, the walk is third walk. Okay, so third walk, he toggles only the switches whose position is divisible by I. Okay, so if it is a third walk, so in the third walk, what he is doing, he will toggle the switch but only the switches which is divisible by I. What it mean? If it is a third walk, so he will toggle the switches only the 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, because it is divisible by 3, right? Because the walk is 3. So obviously he will toggle only the switches which is divisible by 3. So he will toggle only the 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 like switches. Okay. So he does not press any switch when coming back to his initial position. Okay. So while he is going from one side to the another side, only that time he will toggle. But while returning back, he is not toggling any switch. This is the condition. So the ith walk is defined as going down the corridor, doing his particular thing, and coming back again, determining the final state of the last bulb. Is it on or off? Okay, so this is the problem statement. What is the problem statement? The ith walk is defined. Just a minute. Ith walk is defined as going down the corridor, doing his particular thing, and coming back again, determining the final state of last bulb. So ith walk, the walk might be the fifth walk, sixth walk, seventh walk, eighth walk, any walk, but in which, if there is a n number of light bulbs are there, what is the position of last bulb that you have to identify? So what will be the solution for that? Can anyone put into the chat box? Because if everyone will speak, it would be difficult for me to understand. This problem you can solve using a loop by checking n number of numbers for n time. Okay. So what we can do, we can use a loop by which we can check the n number of light position for the n time, like you are saying by the matrix. In the matrix, you will put the values 1010, and as per the walk, like ith walk, you will check a particular row and you will get the last bulb status, right? But by this method, it can be exceeded the time limit. To check a long integer, maybe the time complexity O of n is a huge time. So to overcome time complexity, use a trick. So one trick is there. Now this trick that you have to understand. So if you are sitting for Google Campus Drive or Microsoft Campus Drive, you will find this kind of problem over there, in which you should be very mathematically sound. That time only you can solve this kind of problem. Okay. But even if you are solving your Code Vita, in which you will find TCS Code Vita competition, in which also you will get this kind of problem that you can solve, but only by the practice. If you are doing practice, if you are practicing very, very hard, only that time you can solve this kind of problem. It is not very easy. It is very, very difficult. Even to understand one problem, it will take one day. Okay. So it is very, very complex. But once you understand the solution, it is very, very simple. At the same time, I want to tell you. Okay. So what is the solution? How actually we can find out the last bulb position? You will come to know in the next lecture, because time is over now, 1:45. And the next lecture is your computer network subjects, which is at 1:55 p.m. So I am the only who will continue this lecture, because D.R. Patil sir is not taking today's lecture. So I will continue today's lecture. So you have a 10-minute break now, and after 10 minutes, I will discuss solution for this problem. Okay. So you have to leave this meeting and you have to join computer network, or you can join the same meeting. It is better to join computer network meeting, join with the computer network meeting details. So now you can leave the meeting now and join with computer network meeting details at exactly 1:55 p.m. So you have 10-minute break now, and after that 10 minutes, I will explain the solution for this problem. Okay, so in